Dell, and couple of accounts over here in the Mindtree. One of that is the Dell actually. And we are looking for the Java related positions opening over here. Okay. And that's the reason we are discussing. It's more towards, I will say, REST API, Spring Boot, and various frameworks, which we'll be expecting from the new Mindtree. Okay, that's a quick one. So over to you, Priya. Before you start, I think Soumya also joined. Soumya want to take some screenshot if I'm not wrong. Oh, she already taken. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Mosam, maybe you can switch off your camera. Not a problem. We can only continue with the audio. That will be perfectly with me. Okay. Let's go ahead.
So I should introduce myself, right?
Yeah. Introduce yourself. Tell me something about your skill set, and then we will discuss.
Sure. So I have started my career as Java developer in 2015 with TCS, and since then I have worked in retail and healthcare domain. My first project was a legacy project where I have implemented multiple new functionalities and fixed bugs. My current project is in microservices architecture, and its tech stacks are Java 8, Spring Boot as backend, AngularJS as frontend, MySQL and Oracle as database. We are working in Agile environment. I've developed REST API using Spring JPA Hibernate.
Okay, good. I see you have worked for Walgreens also.
Yes.
That is the US based customer. Correct?
Yeah,
so majority of your experience with the US customer, how it is?
Yes. Actually, my initially I joined life science domain where I worked with horizontal team. It was like I worked with the functional consultant and all. That was kind of POC we used to do at that time. After that, I joined Walgreens, and it was monolithic. Initially the project architecture, it got migrated to microservices architecture, and currently also it is in migrating phase. So it is not fully migrated; it is coexisting phase currently because they are following a strangler pattern to migrate. So it's the same account. I have been working here from last 5 years in Walgreens. So most of my interaction is with US and this Walgreens client only.
And you're based out of which location?
Here I'm at Noida.
Noida. Okay. Got it. Yeah, Noida. I think their TCS have this their own
yes.
Okay. Can you explain me something related to your current project? What kind of framework you are having and DevOps another pipeline?
Yes, definitely. So currently my project is in coexisting phase. That is, we have 5 microservices ready, and rest requests are being routed to the monolithic application only. So we have our DevOps team which uses Jenkins for CI/CD pipelines, and they are using Docker and Kubernetes as well. So currently we have started looking into microservices which are if there is any logs and all, if there is any issue. And apart from that, we have developed REST API, which is basically which I have developed, that is internal REST API. So I have developed 2 REST API till now, and we are yet to develop. Our project is mainly used by the employee of the client. So it's basically performance measurement kind of metrics which we calculate and show to the employee of the Walgreens, and hence there are more data manipulation kind of things implemented in our project.
Okay. So in terms of microservices, so how you have done the setup? I mean, in the sense like architect have done the setup.
Yes,
right?
Yes, architect.
So anything you want to? I mean, specifically you can say, yeah, this was the microservice which you created as a team, and then what are the key advantages happened because of that specific microservice?
Just like I am personally in fact I am indulged in the creation of REST API only, but I have seen and I attended most of the meeting when there was discussion on the
Yeah, then fine. We'll talk about REST API. That is perfectly okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
while we were planning for the microservices, like on what basis we should decide what are the what are the functionality we should include in single microservices. These were the meeting which I had to attend, and I attended. There I came across that they divided the our application on the basis of business logic in different microservices. That is, they are using like domain based kind of some technique to divide them into different microservices. Apart from that, I came to know, I understand that in our project we are having API gateway, which basically implement the security part, and REST cross-cutting is being implemented via Spring API gateway. And then we are in our application, the microservices are using JWT token for further authorization part, and we are having there are that circuit breaker pattern is being implemented here. These are the things which I know and I have seen in the project.
Okay. And in terms of the REST API, so what is this URL, URI? What is that?
It is basically endpoint which is exposed to the other API by which they can call that method or that functionality.
Okay, and what about, say, if I want to, or maybe @param, do you know any annotations which are commonly used in this?
Yes. So @param request is used to get the parameter. Like many times we suppose the user is requesting some data for, according to certain ID. It is being passed via in the URI. So that thing is being fetched using this annotation @param request, so that we can use that to get the required data from DB or anywhere from which we want, from wherever we want. So we get it using this annotation.
Okay. Controller, REST controller.
Yes, controller is a REST controller. Basically, it's a combination of two. One is the controller and @request body. So this is combining these two becomes REST controller. So here it's basically things like whatever request is sent from the client, it is being handled. It says that this is the controller which will handle the request. Apart from that, it will serialize and deserialize the value which is being passed by client. The request body does it. It basically provides us the values or any data which is being sent by the client in the form of JSON, and it deserialize it, and we can use it in our method or functionality, and then it sends it. So that's why it's using @request body.
Okay. How you are doing code check-in, checkouts? What are the tools used?
Yes. Currently, we are. I have used most of the time Git, but now we are learning to use Docker as well to pull and push the code. And apart from that, I have some exposure in uploading the code in AWS S3 bucket as well. So, but these are the transition thing which we are have started learning, and we have little bit exposure. But I have hands-on on getting checkout from Git and pushing and merging the branches and all.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Anything you want to highlight, like how is the review process, code review process, or the check-in review process?
Yes, in that case, we are not earlier we were doing the review of the codes using the checklist. we had checklist, and there was a manual review done. And now they are using Sonar for the automated review thing. That is being taken care by DevOps team. And we were used to, before that we used to follow the checklist.
Yeah, okay. And what about the code? I mean, when I say if you're doing a code check-in, okay, and then it goes for a deployment, then is there any separate review process, or all the review happens before that?
No, all the review happens before that only. Like we have, we are having the sprint in which we complete the any code things we develop, and after that we present it to the client as a demo, and after that, after the approval, we just commit it in our dev environment. And after that, there is a CRQ created, which is being deployed by the DevOps team. We just involve in that deployment so that everything is working fine or not. We validate the things. So it is done like this here.
Okay. Okay. What about the Spring Boot experience? What you are having? You are using it?
Yeah, we are using Spring Boot. So it is earlier, since I have told you that we are having both kind of project currently. So my old code is written in Spring. Basically, it's a custom framework, Bounce, which is developed upon Spring. And now the microservices and REST API, these are written in the Spring Boot framework.
Do you want to highlight something like Spring Boot CLI related things, CLI commands?
Spring Boot CLI commands, like very rare we use, like for developing.
Maybe you can talk something related to dependency injection.
Dependency injection, yes. It's whenever we have to insert any value as a bean in some another bean, then that is being called dependency injection. So here in Spring Boot, we are using annotation at AutoWire, which actually internally it does this for us whenever a Spring Boot project is run first time. It collects all the beans which is annotated, like it scans all the class which is annotated at component, and after that it collects all the beans and it keep it. Whenever we call it using AutoWire, it just pick that bean and inject it, or you can say it basically what it does, it insert that bean inside the another bean where we have auto-wired that bean basically. So this is the auto-wiring thing, or you can say a dependency injection done by Spring Boot here. Or in simple word, if we say dependency injection is inserting one of the bean in another bean.
Okay, yeah. Good. What about this IOC containers?
Yes, IOC container is kind of like a Spring. It's basically whatever beans or whatever classes, like whatever like they are. We put multiple annotations like at service, at controller, and at beans and everything. These things Spring just keep it in the container, its definition, and it's whatever configuration part which we provide, or auto configuration part, these things are being maintained inside the IOC container by Spring Boot.
Okay. Most of my, actually I'm done in terms of the technical stuff. Okay.